According to the municipal heritage description, the Anglicans looked at establishing a congregation in Melville as early as 1907. In 1909, the organising missionary for the Diocese of Qu'Appelle, Reverend White, first conducted worship in Melville in the Lutheran Church. A branch of the Women's Auxiliary was formed and a resident priest was appointed in the person of Reverend King. Contractors renovated Commons Hall to serve as a mission hall. The hall was dedicated to St. Cuthbert. The Qu'Appelle Association in England and the local Women's Auxiliary branch covered the cost of church ornaments and furnishings. Melville became self-supporting at Easter 1913, indicating that a level of financial stability had been achieved fairly quickly. A residence for the priest was built during 1912 to 13, and because of the change in financial status, it was called a rectory. In response to a church building appeal by Bishop Harding while visiting Canadian troops overseas in 1916, members of All Saints Reading in England raised enough money to build a church in the Diocese of Qu'Appelle. The Reading congregation noted that many Anglicans had left that city to settle in Canada, and more recently, the splendid rally of Canadians to call of empire had moved them to support the church in Qu'Appelle. Harding felt that Melville's spiritual needs were the most pressing, as it was an important divisional point on the Grand Trunk Pacific, and its population was rapidly growing. Still worshipping in the old St. Cuthbert Mission Hall and having outgrown its seating capacity, the bishop felt that it was time for the congregation to erect a newer and more permanent structure. Achieving that goal was not an easy one. It would seem that the design by J.W. Hawker was rather ambitious. The Reading congregation provided its share of the funding and asked that the new church be dedicated to All Saints. A funding shortfall led to the design in an English-style church with a tower entrance not being fully realised. Only a chancel, sanctuary and half the nave were completed by 1924. The effort of building the new church and converting the former mission hall to a parish hall at the same time placed great strain on the rector and congregation. As a result, rural mission work suffered. But the mortgage was finally paid off in 1944, and in December of that year, the church, not quite to the original design, was consecrated. In 1955, All Saints Altar Guild was formed, and 5 years later, a new parish hall was built. In 1986, the 1924 design was fulfilled using donations, heritage grants, and volunteer labour. The bell tower and balcony were added, as well as the chancel and sanctuary being remodelled as it is today. All Saints Church was designated Municipal Heritage Property. In 2007, the congregations of All Saints Anglican Church and St. Paul's Lutheran Church became a full communion parish and continue in this relationship today.